All right. Welcome back to the Wolves Only podcast powered by JWX. I got to get this on because this is an impromptu show. This is very sporadic of us guys. This is really kind of special. We had a cancellation today on a call. You know, people that can't commit to shit, they cancel because, you know, they're used to just, you know, not getting ahead in life. So I'm going to quickly just take a quick live action shot of my boy Matty. Oh, he is on the Wolves Only podcast today, powered by JWX. And this is going to be a nice time. This is going to be a really nice time. Say what's up, Matty.
What's going on, fam? How we doing?
We're doing good. So my son is coming out to California on the 30th. Did you know that I was a dad, Matty?
I actually did not. That is news to me.
Yeah, I'm a dad. I have a 12-year-old son, and he lives in Michigan. And he's a good boy. He's a really good boy. But I saw a picture of him today, and he has the Jim Bro broccoli haircut. He just cut his hair like that with the perm and everything. And I'm like, I don't know what to think about this. So I was talking to JT about it, and I had to kind of check myself because my dad, I had a million haircuts growing up, guys, a million haircuts. Okay. And my dad was always so critical about my hair and, you know, and about, I'm just posting this right now and about my looks, you know what I mean? Like we always had wild looks, you know, I was into punk rock and skateboarding and stuff like that. And he was always, so I'm trying not to be so critical, but it's hard. You know, it's hard.
Are you talking about he's got like the long, like is it his hair really long?
Shaved on the side and then the tall top, like with the curly, with the bangs, you know what I'm talking about?
And he's 12?
He's 12.
I say let him rock.
Let him rock. What do you think, JT? What are your thoughts, man?
Let him do his thing. Let him do his thing. Let the kid cook.
Growing up, I was straight Justin Bieber hair until college. I had like long hair, and I like used to like wave
the swoop.
You know what I'm saying? I used to like do these things.
You have really good hair though. You know, me and JT are envious. JT is like, he is thinning, dude. He is. Yeah. You can see what JT is thinking.
that's bold coming from you, Cranium.
Yes, but hey, so when the minute that it was like time to let it go, I just let it go. It's like I'll let gravity do the work, right?
I can't let it go. The vanity won't let me, and I can't grow a fucking beard.
Oh yeah,
I cannot grow a beard.
I'm screwed.
Yeah, I got a jawline, so I'm gonna keep rocking the jawline rather than a beard. When I do a beard, my face looks round. I start to look out of shape, and it just doesn't look right. And it's thin as all hell. It's not, it's not a full beard. I'm not a grown man yet.
Patchy, like it's like in patches. You could even see it when it's like growing in.
Yeah,
it always comes in patches. So I just shave it off every 2-3 days.
Yeah, it is. It's a rite of passage to be able to grow a beard. We were talking about this earlier. I've had this beard since I was like 18 years old. So we're going on 20 years.
Yeah, that's strong. Beards equals wisdom.
It is.
And you just automatically think wisdom.
Yeah, and soup. Because the soup gets stuck in there. Yeah. It's but when I think about like looks and I think about like how we've all evolved, you know what I mean? And like our styles that have changed throughout the years, right? Like we're still always evolving. Like my styles, it doesn't change so much like as far as like the fit of clothes that I like. I've always liked the same thing. More skinny jeans, more fit t-shirt. I usually like big hoodies, cool jackets, cool shoes, stuff like that, right? But like I'm still evolving, Let's just talk about yesterday. Yesterday, I was literally ground down and waterboarded for 9 hours. Are you allowed to talk about waterboarding?
Probably not, but
it was the dentist, right? So I literally sat there and I had, look at this. Brilliant. Brilliant, right? Got some new piano keys, guys.
Yeah, you do.
And like whatever, but you know, like we are always trying to evolve our image. And I think it's important to kind of, because you see those guys and they just been like, I wear a t-shirt, you know, and cargo shorts. Like they just stay the same forever. They got no style, right? And you hear their wives talking about them like, oh, I wish my husband dressed better. What happened to those guys? What happens? JT, tell me something. Give me something.
What happens to those guys?
What happened?
Miserable. What
No,
happened?
what happened?
Oh, they were told that they're perfectly okay how they are. That's what happened. And you're
What
not.
a-
You're not. You should always, like, we want to talk about style. I mean, you should be evolving, right? Like, I cannot stand. I'll be the first one to tell you. Watching a bunch of grown ass men run around in jumpsuits like toddlers anymore drives me absolutely insane. Why are
Jumpsuits.
yeah, like the matching hoodie and joggers, the full jumpsuit.
Oh,
walking
that
around.
bothers you.
Like,
You're talking
they look like they're 4 years old.
You're talking down in the jumpsuit game?
Yeah, I am. Like, why are we not, as grown men, why are we not putting a suit on every once in a while? Why are we not cleaning
Like
ourselves
a full-blown business suit? No,
dude,
you like to dress up.
Yeah, I am one of those. Like, I'll wear a turtleneck with a nice pair of fitted, tailored pants all day long. Yeah, loafers. Yeah, I've literally sat on calls dressed like that in my own home because it's comfortable and I like the way I look in it.
You know,
Look good, feel good.
It is a look good, feel good thing. And you know me, like I have amazing loafers. I got good style, but
Yeah.
I do not like putting on a suit coat. Like I don't like, if you see me in a suit coat, it's someone died.
That's not true. I've seen you.
You're right.
I've seen you ball out a little bit.
I'm being dramatic. I'm a drama queen.
Yeah, you are.
but no, yeah, no, I have nice clothes. The guy who makes my suits, his name's Lucas, and Lucas is he dresses like let me just tell you who he dresses. Dave Bautista, Conor McGregor. He makes all of Conor McGregor's clothes. Conor McGregor exclusively goes to David August, and Lucas, you know, dresses them and stuff. Post Malone, Brad Pitt, John Favreau. The list goes on and on and on and on. And the spot that he's in, there's a private jet airport. They fly right in, get their wardrobes, fly right out. It's incredible. They don't have stuff like that in Miami. They have a lot in Miami, but they don't have that kind of life there.
Nah, I don't think so. But you know, coming from like the look good, feel good. I mean, personally, the beauty of running your own online business, dude. Sometimes I just show up. I'm like, yo, I don't want to head into the office today. I'm just gonna work right from the crib. T-shirt, shorts. I literally have a pair of shorts on right now.
Me too.
Yeah, but you know what the number one thing about fashion is for men? It doesn't start with what you're wearing. It starts with how you've built your body.
Oh, I was going to say it starts with what's on your wrist.
That too. That pieces everything together though. But there's something to be said, right? There's a difference between a man wearing a suit and a man wearing a fucking suit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's a difference between someone who spends $5,000 on a suit and they're out of shape and they look like shit, plain and simple, and someone being able to wear a $5 t-shirt that fills it out the right way and looks good in it, and they'll look better than that person wearing a $5,000 suit.
You're right.
So it all starts with how you take care of yourself.
100%. Man, we're really on one already today. It all started with my son getting the broccoli haircut.
And dude, you know what's crazy? Because like you guys are talking about like older men with the cargo shorts and their wives saying how they hate them. Like coming from like a single younger guy who lives in Miami, who has had experiences with older women, they complain kind of to me about it, you know. But I think what happens to a lot of guys, man, it's either A, they find the wrong woman, or B, they get extremely comfortable in that relationship and they let themselves go.
Yeah.
At
We
least
see it all the time.
What I'm kind of perceiving from the outside looking in.
Yeah. No, 100%. They get very comfortable.
And I think marriage is also a form, in one way, shape, or form, is the same thing as like operating a business and doing sales. Because in that marriage, you constantly need to resell yourself to your wife as you're this good male that's going to provide and take care of her and still be that attractive male for her. So I think you should always be evolving.
It's the whole thing about you should always be dating, right? You should always be dating your partner. You should always be trying to impress them. And I hate anybody can argue me on that and sit there and be like, well, that's unhealthy. Well, shut the fuck up. All right, because that's why you're miserable, and that's why you're living in your little content bubble and not pushing your life further ahead. Because you should be, right. You should be constantly like you are a representation of who you're with, right? If they can't be proud of who you are, what are you doing? And vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Same exact thing applies on that end.
It's funny because like my wife knows my style, and she'll go out and she'll go shopping for me. She goes shopping with me, and I know her style, and I'll go out and go shopping for her. And I love like going out shopping for like a new bag for her or like new shoes for her. I'll even go out like just like, and I'm not trying to be like that, like I'm that dude, but I'm totally that dude. Like I love to like go to YSL or Givenchy or wherever, and I like to go pick her out like new tops. I'll go by myself.
But as you should, though, you worked hard for that.
Yeah, no doubt. Then it's not so much. That's not meant to be a flex. It's just meant to be like, I like being able to look good for my wife and my wife to be able to look good for me, and it does. It keeps things fun. We share a common interest. Now, I don't have a lot of hobbies, guys. Like I don't like, I like to work. I do like to, I like retail therapy, but I find myself often not able to like find a desire to buy anything for myself. So I'll buy stuff for someone else, mainly my wife. But I just think that, that's just kind of one of them. It is like, I like to go out to eat, not because I'm like really like a big foodie, but I like to dress up and like look nice for the night and go take my wife out after I'm done eating. And by the time I put my clothes on, I'm like, okay, when can this be over? When can I go just take these off and go back to bed? But, it is what it is. And I think Matty, you're younger, so maybe like you want to drive it to the next day.
No, but look, right. I'm honestly in a period of my life right now where like I'm in monk mode. Like I moved to Miami at 22 years old, like pretty much by myself, new city, new chapter, moved from New York. It was a great experience. Loved every single part of it, but also was very distracting at the same time. And it's like, and also I think this could bring value to the coaches out there. It's like, my business, I struggled at first, and then I boomed. And when I boomed, I moved to Miami. I got very complacent. Got rented out a really nice apartment, beautiful view, got really comfortable, started to splurge out, party until the next day. Right now, man, I'm in a period of my life, it's straight monk mode. But at the same time, it is always nice having that nice dinner with the nice female. Every now and again, nice dinner, dress up. It's always the best.
And right now, how old are you now?
Inside 25.
25, right? Like this is the time. Like I'm 29, right? This is the time. If you're anything under 35 years old, this is what you should be focusing on, right? You should be working your ass off. You should be building. You should be growing. And then obviously, you want to enjoy things along the way. And that's where those nice dinners come into play. The nice dinners are what, like, that's the pinnacle to me as far as like the normal things they could do other than traveling and everything like that. But like the partying, all that shit, it's played out. It's, what I mean? Like it's not what it, what's the point?
Dude, like, I wish I would have found the focus that I have now when I was your age. And I'm not trying to be like that fucking geezer that's like, oh, when I was your age, son. But it's true. Like, if I could have those years back that I pissed away being hungover, whatever, chasing chicks and whatever. And if I could like have taken that time, like Matty, you've seen me from the beginning of JWX, right? Yeah. Like in 2 short years, I scaled a massive business for what we do.
Yeah. No, crazy.
If you would have given me the time when this shit was just popping off, like I wish I had that time back. I wish I had that fucking time back. And now I see guys and I watch guys that are your age and they're just pissing it away. And I'm like, God damn, like you have no idea.
No, I was there. I was that guy pissing it away.
Yeah.
And it is really easy to fall into that trap of pissing it away because everybody tells you should be enjoying your life. Why are you? No, you got to go enjoy. You got to experience the world. Listen, Okay, it's 2024. We don't die that young anymore. Okay, you can start enjoying life in your 30s, like really enjoy. You can start doing it then, right? Like
That's the exact plan. But also, it's crazy. Like where focus goes, energy flows. When I was living in Miami, I'm in the scene. I'm always going out. I'm thinking about women. And guess what happens? I'm sleeping with a lot of women because my mind is focused on the women, so I get the women. Now, time out. I moved about 30 minutes north of Pembroke Pines right now. I'm out the scene. I'm out the way. I don't care to go out. Like people ask me to go out. I'm home. That's it. And now I'm more focused on my business more than I ever am. And guess what? The business is now booming more than it's ever been. Now, time out. The women, my phone's empty now. Where focus goes, energy flows. And it's crazy when you kind of really, and that's with anything that you're doing. When all I cared about was going out, partying, sleeping with women, that's all I did. But now when I'm focused on business, I'm really focused on scaling, staying in, being sober, the business grows.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's so true. It is like, I just, again, I look at like the last 2.5 years of like my dead focus. And it's been that way, laser focus, to the point that we did this podcast because I was like, well, what can we do that's like forwarding our business? What can we do that's like growing?
Yeah, the exact words
were nothing to do in the moment.
We were sitting there and you said, what is the best use of our time right now?
Yeah, we just had a cancellation on us for a sales call, and they canceled because they're, whatever, that's about it. But we had to say, what's the best use of our time right now? Let's do a podcast. And then it evolved into, let's throw something up on our storyline on Instagram. And then it turned out to be Matty responding to it. And we had a number of other ones, but one I would have liked to have on. She's really cool, from Poland. But she just had her phone. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to shoot a podcast from my phone, and then it was like, then a few later, it was you. And I was like, yep, done. Let's go. And it turned out to be really cool. And Matty, you and I have done business together for about 2 years now.
Yeah, going strong. I wish I had 100 more guys like you.
Well, and there's something to be said about that. I mean, being more mature in business than most people, like I am a very loyal person. I'm a straight shooter. I say exactly, I mean, I've threatened your life a handful of times, maybe. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But I'm always like, I just say exactly what's on my mind, but I always pay credit where credit's due. And everybody else, it's always me. And they don't understand what a good deal is. What's your guys' opinion of a good deal? And I'm going to, before if you answer, I have a very simple answer, and it's super cliche. A good deal is a deal that's been mutually beneficial. That's all. But maybe one of you can elaborate on that.
A good deal?
Yeah.
I mean, definitely mutually beneficial. That's actually really tough to dive into. It really depends on what area we're talking about. This is a tough one, Justin.
Man, it's fun. It's fun doing a good deal. Like, it's honestly fun doing business sometimes.
Okay. It's fun all the time.
Without pontificating on mutually beneficial, what other direction can you take it in?
For me, as a true coach and consultant, it's the text that I get 1 to 2 months later from the client saying how much I've helped them, how much they're growing, how much.
But that's a reward. That's a reward.
Yeah, that's a reward.
For me, that's what it is, though. That's a good deal.
A good deal would be, other than being like mutually beneficial, exclusivity. Is it
exclusive? Okay. Yeah. Okay, a deal that's exclusive, something that you cannot tie bonds with anybody else except the other person, the two people involved in that deal.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. I like that. What about inclusive?
I feel like that's just, I mean, I feel like that's part of, I don't know.
A good deal that's put together that people can join in on, and it can benefit more people that aren't just involved. What about inclusive?
Yeah, inclusive would be. I mean,
what about evolving? What about a deal that you can put together that can evolve into a bigger deal? But what about a deal that can evolve into a bigger deal but stands alone by itself, even with missing pieces? For instance, Metaphorically speaking, actually, you open up a trampoline, right? And it's missing a couple springs. This is from a book, actually. This is from a book by Rob Bell called Velvet Elvis. It's taken in a different context. But you're missing a few springs. You put the trampoline together, even though it's missing some springs, you can still jump on it, and you can still be inclusive. You can be exclusive. But those missing springs are going to make the experience better. You guys get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm following.
Yeah, it can only adding more springs can only improve the experience. It can't take away from it.
Correct, but you can still stand alone with what
Yeah.
you have, and you can put together a good time, right?
Yeah.
But adding everything else, and then all of a sudden now you can add the net that goes around it. You can have a basketball hoops. You guys can do some sick ass jams, because us white boys, we're not jamming without a trampoline, right?
Right.
So evolving, a deal that can evolve, but stand alone by itself. What else?
Comes from support. Like, just like in business, like a good deal that can evolve into something else. I mean, honestly, Justin, I could even give you the example between you and me. When we first got together, you were at a certain place. Yo, Matty, I'm only going to pay for this package here. And then as we evolved, you've continued to climb up the ranks as we established that relationship early. But for a coach, this could also evolve into, hey, I'm going to get you the results that you want. And then this is going to evolve into them now referring you their friends and family because of how much they like that service.
Right.
Or it evolves into them being a mentee.
Yep.
There's a lot of ways that can evolve.
Now we're talking. So a good deal is mutually beneficial, but we jumped into exclusive, which is a great point. But exclusive kind of stops there for a second. When now we're talking about inclusive, and we're talking about evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we're evolving. Now we're impacting more lives. Now we're bringing more people in. Now we're taking people not to the level that they wanted to be, and then going above and beyond from there. So we're providing an amazing experience. When retention becomes the most valuable is when you can continuously level that person up, not just retain them as a client.
Yeah, when you can evolve them as a client, that's when it becomes
right
the pinnacle.
Right.
That's a gem right there. Justin laid a gem. I hope the listeners caught that one. That was a straight gem. I fully understood it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys, this is why I love having these podcasts like this, where we have three people who can contribute from experience, but start tossing ideas around. This is a good deal. This is mutually beneficial. This is Matty getting to expand his network and his platform. This is Justin JT getting to introduce himself further into the fact that he has a very high role in JWX, but doesn't get seen very often because he's handling more acquisition sides of things. This is great for me because I get to further my platform and learn from two very brilliant people. But where do we go from here?
Speak too highly of me, man.
Yeah, well.
Where do we go from here?
You give me too much credit sometimes. That's all. This was you. You built this.
But again, you got to look at all the contributing factors. You got to look at the fact that it was a good deal. And as many times as I've been a pain in your ass and I've been pissed off about certain things and stuff like that, we still stay connected. I had a good time. I had a really good time with you in Miami. I will tell you that.
I like business like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah.
Sometimes when you're coaching someone, like you gotta lay the hammer on them. Like, no more nice guy. I gotta tell you this from the heart of my soul, because I want you to be better, or I want you to be better for me. I love clients like that I can get really personal with. They lay the line on me. I'm like, hey, you're right. I need to improve. This needs to get improved. You're right. I'm on it.
It's the same thing with me and Justin, right? Justin put a lot of trust in me to handle a lot of the front end of this business. Is it all sunshine and rainbows between me and him? No. There are times where we butt heads. There are times where we challenge each other. There are times where, right? But at the end of the day, it's mutually beneficial because we both have each other's best interest at heart. right? And anytime that it does go that route where it is butting heads, it is challenging, it's to help the other person grow, right? That's a good deal.
Cannot agree more. Spot on.
Let me ask you this. Let's go around the room. What is of each other? Let's get awkward.
I'm down.
What is an open honesty and brutal honesty? And I'm okay with this. What is your favorite thing about working with me and me with you? But what's also something that grinds your fucking guts?
All right, I'm going first.
Oh, God damn it.
Matty was way ready.
Justin, my favorite thing about working with you is that you're actually a high-level individual. Like, you can tell a high-level client from a low-level client. You can tell a client who's going to give you as the consultant a great experience and the client who's going to really, grind the gears with you a little bit. So what I like about Justin is that I could shoot him a fat invoice. That's like, all right, done, paid, thanks. Whereas I could talk to the next client. So I do a lot of B2B. I work with a bunch of broad variety of people. I've worked with artists, I work with hundreds of artists as well. So you can tell in the music industry, calling it what it is, a lot of artists are very talented. Unfortunately, they only make music. They don't really have jobs. But anyways, so I've worked with all different levels of clients. And you can tell from the low-level client where it's like, hey, this is $250 a month, and they think it's like the guy for a million questions, want to know everything. They want the case study, which I understand. But when you talk to that higher level clients, like how much is it? Cool, boom, paid, done. And that's what I like about it, because you just take action. But also I understand the action has what led you to the success in the business that you've also created. So I see it come full circle. That's probably my best thing about you. And then the least favorite things. Honestly, I can't really.
Come on. There's no way. I got to piss you off sometimes.
I can't. I really can't. I can't paint one right now.
All right, you think about it. I'll go. Okay, I'll let you think about it.
I'm going to regret this.
No, one of my favorite things about you, Justin, your creativity, your ambition, your big picture viewpoint on things, right? You have a way of processing information at a very exceptional rate. And it helps me speed up. It helps me keep me on task. It helps me grow and pushes me to be further and further and further, right? Your big picture visions and your ability to execute within big picture visions is impressive, right? It is. The thing that drives me absolutely up a wall about you is your inability to let go and your inability to, like, you give full trust, but you, like, it's when you're traveling, I literally want to block you. Because you have such a hard time being pulled away from things because you're so used to, and I love it about you though, right? Because you're so used to being hands-on, because like we have these conversations all day long. You know where I'm at all day. I know where you're at all day. I know we're both working 12 to 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right. But I know when you get pulled away and you're traveling, it gives you anxiety about what's going on. So then you overthink, you overcomplicate, and then you send me a million messages. And I'm like, Justin, leave me alone. Let me do what I do.
Fair.
That's what drives me nuts.
Fair. All right.
I think, Justin, the only thing I can think about, man, is that you just post too goddamn much. That's all I got.
You know what's so funny is all these negatives are not negative things at all.
I know. Like, I was like hoping you'd really hit me in the guts. Matty, let me tell you what I love about working with you. Your response time is fantastic, and the most successful people have the fastest response time. Okay. What drives me nuts about you is that when I know I'm irritating you, you won't tell me. Or when I know something's bothering me, you will not tell me. You just like play hunky dory, but I can tell you have this like bedside manner thing about you.
I know, dude. Honestly, I'll agree to that. I can be very passive aggressive sometimes.
Yes, if that's what it is, passive aggressiveness.
I understand that.
And I'm like, bro, just tell me now's not a good time. Instead of like me, like wondering if you're okay and if my relationship with you is tarnished because of my neediness. This is really fucking fun to me. JT,
you're not the only one I do it to.
Oh man, you're JT. You're a workhorse. And you're just so systems and processes driven. You already know that about you. Let me think here. when you do, you have a tendency to spin constructive criticism. And that's not a bad thing, but to me, it's to me, it's like you have a tendency to spin it towards a bright side of things. And I'm like, okay, well, instead of spinning it to a bright side of things, let's take that and actually grow off of the criticism. I sometimes feel that's going to cause us to stay stagnant when we try to spin everything back around. But again, that's more of your PMA than it is anything, right? And that's a good thing. But it's so funny. This is why I like doing this stuff, guys. And I think that a lot of times, like, again, a good deal is mutually beneficial. So that means that the communication should be mutual. The feelings, the thoughts, the opinions, and stuff like that should be able to go in and not hurt a relationship. I'm sure you can probably think of a million other things that piss you off about me, but at the same time, it's like, if we can communicate stuff like that, that doesn't mean walk on eggshells, right? That doesn't mean like, oh, I'm going to dance around this person, because me, I'm not going to be that guy. But what it does mean is we learn to accept each other. But that doesn't mean we have to accept what pisses each other ourselves off, or piss each other off.
Yeah.
Right? We can call it out.
Yeah, I think that's I think that creates for the healthiest business relationships, or any relationship in general, is being able to go, hey, just so you know, you're pissing me off right now. It doesn't change anything. I'm just letting you know what you're doing is pissing me off.
Yeah.
And not being like, oh my God, it's just going to ruin the relationship. Like, there's no, right. It's, hey, Justin, you're pissing me off right now. I'm going to actually end this conversation, and I'll talk to you in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. It
can really be that simple.
It can be.
It can be.
With the right people. That's where that exclusivity comes into play.
Yes.
It's got to be the right people. In order for that to work, in order for that to happen in the right manner, and be able to do that, you have to it has to be around the right people, because the wrong person is going to take that negative and take it as an attack and start to disrupt and start to become an issue and everything like that.
It does become cancerous.
Yeah.
It really does. This is
I've
cool.
been there a million times.
It's in Good to Great, they always talk about the bus and having the right people on the bus. And it also means that even if you have to limp a little while, because settling it can set you back far more than just limping.
Mm-hmm.
Than running with a flat for a little bit, you know what I mean, before the right tire comes in. Because what happens when you put the wrong piece on, or you put the wrong, and then you're going again, but that implodes. And I learned that the hard way when I gave a guy another chance, and he ended up being a disruptor. And then we caught ourselves again, tail between our legs, after trying to go to help somebody back out and trying to go back to somebody that wasn't the right fit, wasn't the right person for the bus.
Yeah. Running with a flat is way better than putting the wrong wheel size on and then your axle breaks.
Right. I tried to put, you want to know what? I tried to say that just like what you were saying. But then my like analytical side of my brain was like, well, a bus is typically a dual axle. So, if I'm and
a metaphor, Justin.
I'm trying to change the metaphor after I just said it.
Yeah, that's honestly part of the reason why I moved away. I moved from New York to Miami. I actually got kicked. Justin, did you know I actually got kicked out of college?
You look like you would have.
I didn't drop out. I say I dropped out. But
yeah, for COVID, right?
The reality is I actually got kicked out.
Yeah, because you were party boying on social media during COVID.
AT, you're going to love this one. COVID. So I know California was that strict as New York was, right? I'm a straight A student. I was a kinesiology major. I had a 3.95 in major GPA, or 3.75. Like, it was either A or A minus on that report card every single time. And my college had a rule. You can't be in a room with more than 20 people in it. But guess what? I was already a fitness coach, influencers, building the brand. And I had, I believe, 25,000 followers at the time on Instagram. All the professors knew me. Hey, that's a famous influencer guy on Instagram. I kid you not. People point me out in the street. Random people on campus come up to me. So I was kind of like a little celebrity in this little college. But now, and I knew what I was doing. I posted a picture that I was at a party. I posted like a video that I was at a party, and I knew people were watching and they're going to report it to the school. But I thought that they were only going to say, "Hey, move your classes online. You can't show up in person." And I wanted that because I wanted to be able to use my phone so I could answer my clients if they needed help or something. And I politely asked my professors in the class, I was like, "Hey, like I sit in the back. If a client texts me, like I'm going to service them. Like I'm not." And they were like, "No, like you can't. Don't show up to my class. You're gonna have your phone out." So I was like, "All right, I gotta get myself in trouble." So they tell me I can't show up in campus, so I could do the classes online. But instead of giving me the slap on the wrist, they actually used me as the example and suspend me for 2 full semesters. Like, screw it, I'm moving to Miami. Why? Because I was on the wrong bus. I had to branch out of that environment because here's the thing: being a college kid in that campus, I'm surrounded by brokies. I'm just calling it for what it is. There's no judgment when I say this, but when you're in
A
college,
little judgment, but it's okay.
you're around other people who don't have jobs and have no money, and people are literally complaining about $5 to pass the weed. Like, just not the right environment for like the goals that I had in place. I was already operating a business at the time.
Yeah.
Moved to Miami. I was on the wrong bus. I had to move to a new location, new city, be around higher successful people in a new city. That's what also helped elevate that. I know I say I got complacent in Miami, but I've also made a lot of great business deals and met a lot of high level people that I now do business with, but also that lifestyle has also led to further fostering all the growth and everything that I do too.
Well, location does play a big role in things, 1,000%, right? They always say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the closest amount of time with, right? If you hang out with 5 billionaires, you will be the next billionaire. If you hang out with 5 bums, you will be the next bum.
Yep.
Correct. And that's exactly why I made this transition down here. Because now, when you live in Miami, you get invited to these, like, you just get invited to these random events. Networking event here, and all these networking events. You're in a room, and it's like 30, 50 other entrepreneurs. And honestly, just calling it for what it is, they're ready to sell you shit, and they're ready to get sold on shit. So it's great.
Right.
A lot of clients in those environments. That's another big tip. Go to networking events. I cannot stress that enough. You will find a lot of clients there. Think about it. It's just a bunch of entrepreneurs that paid between $100 and $1,000 for that ticket, and they're ready to grow their business. Just think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many people that have like good opportunities, good careers, but then it stops there. They don't go to the networking events. They don't branch out and start to build a platform. They just stay stuck, and that's what keeps them stuck. Networking to them is going to the bar, and it's also like a lot of these guys, they think they're going to networking events, but they end up just like that. It's the same as being at a bar to them.
It's not intentional. You got to be intentional with it.
Right.
I think everything you do in life should have intent behind it, right? Every conversation you have, every word out of your mouth should be intentional.
Yeah.
I think people leave too many things up to chance, and then they blame it on bad luck.
Yeah. I always start to feel stuck when I'm like day in, day out in my office. And I'm not, and then like, it's always a pretty stark reminder when like I go to like, we were just in Ohio for the Arnold, and yeah, I was very recognized at the Arnold. Yeah. There's a lot of people that know who I am for what I do in this industry and who I work with. But it's a really stark reminder that, if I stay in my office all day, like, I'm going to stay in the same spot that I'm in. I need to be at more of these events. I need to be shaking more hands in person. And because at the end of the day, like, guys, people that run online businesses that just stay online, they feel like they have this pseudo fame, and then they go out in the real world and no one really recognizes them. Like, Matty, it was cool that you were recognized in college and stuff like that. But think about the people that do what I do at this level, but they're keyboard warriors. If they walked into the Arnold, no one would even know who the fuck they are. Now, of course, I stand out because I'm a huge dude. I'm covered in tattoos, and I'm head to toe in like Louis V and shit. Like, obviously, like people recognize me based on just my appearance. But when I have people that come up to me and recognize me because I do the right thing, because I have a good reputation, because of the words that come out of my mouth, because of the authenticity, then it's like, okay, like this is why I can show my face in public. But I feel like a lot of people can't do that. I feel like a lot of people are stuck because they've not only limited themselves to that spot, but they don't have a reputation. They don't have anything, or they have a poor reputation.
Do you think that a lot of people that run online businesses are missing out on opportunities to expand their business and real world connections and real life connections, and be missing opportunities that they could take aspects of their business and apply it in real life, because they're simply so stuck in this bubble of being online, and they don't put themselves in front of, I hate to say it this way but it's just the best way to explain it. They don't put themselves in front of real world entrepreneurs. So they kind of stay in this handcuff bubble, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs that aren't on this side, right? That don't pay attention to this side of things. That if you got in front of them in a networking event or anything like that, or just randomly, however it occurs, that you're missing opportunities to grow your business into the real life side of things as well.
I think that if you plan on staying low ticket forever, you can safely stay as an exclusively online only digital marketing person. If you're in digital marketing, which is what we're all in. Okay. But if you want to go high ticket in digital marketing, you're going to have a lot of great opportunities if you're out and about and if you're networking. I think that you're going to have far better opportunities when you're high ticket, because you're dealing with more money. So you meet people in person, you're able to establish trust with somebody in person. You're able to physically shake their hand and look them in the eye. It positions you better. And then you have those interactions, those connections, and then you can snowball it from there. It will reinforce your digital presence by having that in-person presence. At the end of the day, a handshake's way warmer than a click.
Yes, a million times. If let's say I wasn't doing digital marketing. Let's say I was selling credit repair, or I was doing business funding, credit repair, business funding. I would be at every networking event in Miami. Shake as many hands as I can, because that's all these networking events are. You literally show up in a room, it's 50 to 100 people in there. There's drinks, there's food, and there's no agenda most times. It's just, hey, here's the people. Like, that's really all it is. And they're just chatting and talking for hours on end, and you're meeting pretty much everybody in there. And yeah, every single time we go to I go to one of these things, at least I always walk out with at least 5 new clients.
Yeah,
always.
Like think about it on this end, right? Like my end of things, sales is my end, right? Like that's my expertise, that's my world. Sales systems, processes, everything like that, right? Who's to say that being out there at a real life networking event and everything with the company and what we do, who's to say I can't take someone who has an in-person business that's lacking sales process and everything like that and secure a client for us out of that?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Point proven. If I was doing anything, I would be at networking events. I would do anything, but we understand as salespeople, because when you're in any business, everything is sales. Whatever you're offering, coaching, consulting, marketing.
Yeah, it's all sales.
And anybody that I've ever trained or talked to or worked with or anything in between, the only time they struggle with getting sales is simply they just haven't made enough contact. But contact with intention. There's a difference between just regular contact and contact with intention.
Right.
That's all it is. Like, you haven't sent enough DMs yet. You haven't sent enough email outreach yet. You need to continue to work on that advertising campaign. You need to continue to show up in person. That's also why I love big city, high-rise apartments. Every time I walk outside, there's always just people in the street, I'm constantly surrounded by people. So what do? I meet people.
Yep.
And it's not, hey, you're going to shake 100 hands. You don't expect 100 new clients. Shake 100 hands.
I expect maybe 1 client.
And maybe 10 people are interested. 5 people show up to a call, and you're going to close 1 to 2.
Yeah. 100%. And that we talk about the numbers all the time. But my next point that I want to also come across or point out, I don't, whatever. I'm having a hard time talking. Okay. Is community. I think that today's day and age, the best marketing strategy and the best foundation is ecosystem. I think that if you are trying to create a business, whether it's digital marketing, coaching, whatever it is, and we've proven it because this is what we do, but is like a really solid community, is being selective, having people that are truly invested and having interaction inside of a community. And I think that a lot of people are trying to lone wolf stuff still. And I think the lone wolf stuff is dying. There's always going to be room for it. And there's always going to be successful people in it. But understand that if you talk to a room full of 100 people, okay, only 1% is going to end up doing something with that course, that thing, whatever. Only 1%, right? 99% of people can't do that. But if you have everybody that is collaborating together, you're going to have a far better outcome, collectively, which in turn will be singular success, right? Individual success. So I think that right now, today's day and age, marketing off of ecosystem and community is the best way to go. Bring people in on it.
It's also the best way to retain clients long term.
Yeah.
I found.
Yeah, you're going to establish relationships, bonds.
And one of my favorite sayings in life is, alone you can go fast, but together we can go far.
Correct.
So when you're alone in the journey, yeah, you can crush it. You can be super successful with it. But guess what's going to happen if you do the lone wolf strategy? You'll burn out. Burn out so easy.
You know what I think? It is too. Is people have this obsession with not wanting to have all the credit. Right? They want to feel self-made. Nobody's self-made. Nobody.
Right.
Another thing that for me, because EDST like founded me, they molded me, they shaped me, fell in love with the business model, the mentors there. Like I've gained, I think, not like 80% of my income has came from what I've learned from these guys. So I have this loyalty to the company, but also at the same time, I know my strengths in and out. I am not an entrepreneur. I'm the intrapreneur, where it's like, hey, give me the business, give me the model, show me the sales system, show me how we can help the other client, and I'll sell my fucking ass off. Yep. That's the way that I operate. I'm not the admin guy. I'm not the CEO. I'm honest here. But also understanding my strengths and understanding my weaknesses, it helped me really become a fucking beast of an intrapreneur.
I would agree with you because I'm very much the same way, right? I'm not the idea guy. I can't come up with the things. I can execute on the things you want done, but I'm not the guy that's going to be able to come up with the plan A to Z. Be the first one to tell you that. I know the steps we have to take once you lay it out. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. We add systems here, process. Yep, boom. Okay, this is how we get from here to here, right? I am the same exact way. I'm an entrepreneur.
I think you guys are, yeah, but I think you're cutting yourself short. I think that because that was how I was always too. Give me the process, give me the systems, give me the tools, and I'll take that and go. But I still need to respond to somebody. I still need to answer to somebody, right? But eventually you got to gather up the balls to start to push your own ideas, push your own agenda as well. I do think that it comes more naturally to some people, but I do think that because for me, entrepreneurship wasn't going to be for me, or it never was for me, until I mastered my craft in so many directions that it was like, okay, I know if I combine all the tools that I have, I can start putting my real ideas and my real passions to work. So I think it is right now where you guys are taking what you learned from EDST, taking what you learned from the corporate world and the business world and the sales world that you were in, JT. But these were always you were an entrepreneur, you are an entrepreneur. Yeah. But you kind of rolled off of a scalable model, like just a model that was handed to you or given to you or taught to you or whatever, however you want to say it, or something that you acquired throughout a little bit of time, and not a lot for you because you're a young dude. But I think a lot of times when you start to like really learn your crafts, and whether it's the sales craft, whether it's the processing craft, and then you all of a sudden find this passion, or you know, the passion is going to start to drive ideas. It's going to start to drive like just like thoughts and wants and things like that, to where you're going to start to be able to come up with processes. You know, when I first started online coaching, I had no clue where to start. So I hired a mentor, and that mentor put me in a spot where like, and it puts everybody in a spot where it's almost like you're doing his bidding. And it was like, okay, well, there's no way to act. This is not scalable for myself. I need to come up with my own ideas. So I started to learn about more of the business mindset part of it and the sobriety part of it. And I started to incorporate that part into it. But I also started to angle because like we were given a blueprint of how we're supposed to post and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, sure, there's parts of that worked out okay. But what happens when I start to go this route? What happens when I start to do this? What happens when I start to run ads? What happens, you know, and then what happens when I'm able to take like my sales process that I learned from the auto industry and put it into this arena. Now I have a fantastic auto sales process. I can sell a car to anybody. I don't give a fuck. And most of the time I'll turn that into a 2-3 car deal. Right. But taking all that knowledge and all that experience that I had and starting to, you know, grow some balls and try things out is really what changed the game for me and turned me from an intrapreneur to an entrepreneur. But it takes money to make money. And I think also a lot of people go into entrepreneurship with no money. So they go into it with a limited mindset, and they go into it with a scarcity mindset. And that's dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. I remember I gave my mentor the last dollars in my bank account when I was 20 years old. I think I just turned 20 actually. I was 19, just turned 20. Last dollars in my bank account. That's it. It was either starve or make it. I trapped myself like that. So for me, it worked out well. But also,
it takes a special individual for that to work out well.
Yeah,
right?
But
not everybody can do it.
But it's like I'm really not special.
No, you're not, and I don't mean that in a negative way. But you have something in you that's different than, and this is what separates people. And I hate to say it like this, separates people like us from people that can't make decisions, that stay locked in a bubble, is that you were able to make a decision, and there's a direct correlation between decision making and success. Right? You made a decision, and you left yourself no plan B. Right? You burned the bridge. Right. Yep. So, but you didn't just make the decision, you took action on the decision. Right. When I say it takes a special individual, I'm just saying that it takes someone who can be resilient and just not take no for a fucking answer. I don't mean you have to have every special skill in the world, right? You don't have to have all these crazy things, but you just have to have a resiliency inside of you and a willingness to not settle and not quit.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by it takes a special individual.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. Like, yeah. You know, I look back at it like, dude, in college, I was literally the class clown. High school and college, I was literally the clown.
Half the time,
whole time in high school, I was in the principal's office more than I was in the actual classroom. Troublemaker, just couldn't get out of it.
Half the time, I think it's just being too dumb to know when to quit. Honestly,
yeah.
It is.
Yeah, I think there is like this great like level of just like stupidity, and then having like just a brutal chip on your shoulder.
Like Justin, I've watched you and don't take this the wrong way, I watched you in the last 6 months take insane strides to becoming a more complete entrepreneur, because you took the step, which was the hardest step for you to take, which was letting go of certain things, right? To become a great entrepreneur, it's understanding that to let go in certain aspects and let other people take control in certain aspects, right? And you had a hard time with that for a long time. And then I watched you do it in the last 6 months, and it's freed you up mentally.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's allowed you to be a more complete entrepreneur across the board.
Yeah, no doubt. I know. I definitely appreciate you noticing that. And it wasn't hard. It's also your pet peeve of me. Guys, this was fun. I'm so glad we did this. You know, if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe. Just subscribe anyways. I mean, who cares, right? You already subscribed with a bunch of other derelicts out there. At least subscribe to this derelict. Make sure you comment. Make sure you like. And we'll catch you next time on the Wolves Only podcast. Hey, Matty, man, I'm stoked, man. Thanks for coming on this.
Thanks for having me, Justin. JT, great. Thank you.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, guys, that wraps up an episode of the Wolves Only podcast. Listen, if you guys like what you heard, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and comment. Help us get our message out there. If you want to work with our team, go ahead and click the link in the description below. Schedule a call with us. We'd love to get you on. We really appreciate you guys listening. And if you have any other questions, you can reach out to us on all forms of social media. Thank you so much.